Ladies and gentlemen, stuff, such and whatnot, thank you for tuning in. Welcome to Raw Chaos coverage. I am Phyro Productions along with Furious Nation Nick. How is it going tonight?
It's going all right. Got finished watching Raw, the two of us,
Mm-hmm.
and been through I don't know if I should say this. I'm gonna say this actually. April 28th day. The reason I bring that up, it's been an all right day for me today, but been trying to just keep myself into it, and I guess you want to say it, because unfortunately something really unfortunate happened on this day 10 years ago. On this day, 10 years ago, April 28th of 2015, unfortunately, I lost my father at age 70 due to pancreatic cancer. And today marks 10 years since he passed, and it still feels like it was yesterday, and it's gone by. Sorry. Apologize me sneezing quite a lot, just twice, but all is good. But yeah, but trying to hold it in and trying to keep myself occupied. Went out for ice cream with my family tonight, and then watched Raw, and then hopped in the Raw watch party for a little bit at the end of the stream with this guy, Pyro over here, and then Mitch and Joe of the Hardcore Sports as well, and been pretty much trying to hold it all in today. And not think about it much, but it still feels like it was just yesterday, and still must miss my father very, very much still to this day. 10 years ago, and I just can't believe it's been 10 years since he sadly passed away. And loved him very much. He was in a lot of pain, and I know he's in a much better place right now, and I know he would be very proud with what I'm doing. And so I know he's up there and he's proud. So I want to tell my father I love him very much, and I know he's proud of the man I've become today.
Very
So,
beautiful. Very beautiful.
yeah.
I'm
And he
sorry to
had
hear about
left to live. When I found out late March of 2015, my mom pulled me and my younger sister aside, and she told us that our father had pancreatic cancer and he had a month left to live. So he was in Orlando, Florida at the time. We went to all down spring break and see him, and then we got him up in New Jersey, where he knew family up there, upstate in New York, New Jersey, and we took care of him, and he was a fighter till the end. And he was a good man. I know he'd be proud. So I know I'm doing him proud. So I know he's smiling ear to ear up in heaven right now, and still up there, and he's in a much better place right now. So sorry if I'm getting a little emotional, trying to hold it in, but just
You're all right, man. You're
had
all
to get
right.
just been thinking about him all day, and just it still doesn't feel real.
I'm very glad you're here, Nick, and my condolences. Had something similar with my great aunt 10 years ago. June 20th, actually. So, yeah. Ironically, when Raw was in Kansas City, but yeah, that was an interesting day, and my condolences to you, and I am very proud that you are here, and I'm proud that you know that you're making him proud, and that's wonderful, man. That is wonderful.
Thank you.
But it does, it does suck. It does suck,
And
having that happen to you, and
and
yeah,
fuck cancer, by the way.
fuck cancer. That's right.
He was only
That's
70 when he passed, which is not young. I mean, just not old. Sorry, little
right.
tired, but it's 70's not old, not that old. But I feel like he had a lot. He had more left to give, but I know he was in a lot of pain. But I still miss him to this day, and
Yeah.
I don't wish cancer on. And even my worst enemy, I don't wish cancer on anybody, not even my worst enemy. Fuck cancer. But anyways, I know my father would be proud to have this show here and continue pushing forward, and have a really good show here tonight and here in right raw chaos coverage. I know he'd be proud of us killing it and continue to kill it right here, Raw post show coverage right here on the Hardcore Sports on YouTube, as well as me and Mitch with the watch party on Furious Nation Hardcore Sports every Friday night. And then me and Adam Carl, the Forbidden Podcast. Speaking of which, the third episode of the Forbidden Podcast is going to be 1 p.m. here on YouTube, Hardcore Sports and Furious Nation at 1 p.m. on Saturday, May the 10th. It is the day of Backlash. Now, Backlash
Woo!
should be like 6, probably like what, 6, 7 that night, but we're going to have the third episode of Forbidden Podcast that day of Backlash earlier in the afternoon at 1 p.m. It'll be me and Adam Carl. We'll probably talk about Backlash or whatnot. For topic for that third episode of Forbidden Podcast, stay tuned on announcement of what we're going to be talking about on that third episode of the Forbidden Podcast. So that's for May 10th. I will definitely be on the watch party for Backlash May 10th later on that night as well. And also May 24th is Saturday night's main event, then May 25th Battleground. Most likely watch parties for those shows as well. Obviously, the SmackDown watch party from this past Friday did pretty well. So I thank you guys, and Mitch, appreciate you guys for showing up Friday as well. We had Aleister Black coming back to WWE, Black mastering The Miz, banger TLC triple threat match for the tag team title. Still want to know why it wasn't on WrestleMania, but we got a banger on Friday with the triple threat TLC. Really, really good stuff. Go check out the SmackDown watch party from this past Friday.
Damn, WrestleMania 17, that shit.
Yeah. Then obviously, let me do it all over again this Friday. So we'll see how SmackDown is this Friday. Hit the like on the video. If you haven't done so already, it'd be greatly appreciated. Subscribe to not only the Hardcore Sports, subscribe to Furious Nation. If you're new watching this, that make sure you do subscribe to Furious Nation. Hit the bell for all notifications as well when you do subscribe. And once again, hit the like. It'd be greatly appreciated. Follow me and Phyro on social media, X, links in the description. And we appreciate you showing up here for the Raw post-show coverage. And we had Raw take place tonight, believe it or not, in this guy's hometown, right here in Kansas City, T-Mobile Center.
Kansas City, Missouri, right where this man right here has won 3 Super Bowls without cheating. I don't want to hear it.
Bro,
I still need to put that down. Huh?
Well, bro, I gotta know why we're not at the show though. The show tonight, bro.
Well, I have some exciting news actually. I am graduating college this year, and one of my final classes was today, technically. So I had a final at 8 a.m. By the way, I had to wake up at like 6 in the morning for that crap. Usually it's a 9 a.m. class, so an hour earlier wasn't really that great, but it's okay. It's okay. I am all good, and you know, I'm fine with it. But then I ended up going to. Oh yeah, I did. Excuse me. I did a final for sports psychology. That was a 44 out of 50, so I'm pretty happy about that. And then I had tonight a screening because I make films as well. So I'm graduating with a sports communications major and a minor in film and digital media. So part of the film and digital media was advanced productions, and I made a film. It's 13 minutes long. I will upload it to YouTube at some point. So hopefully you guys like it. I got a B for it for my grade, so it wasn't great, but it got a lot of good fan reactions. Just some audio issues I had, but other than that, I mean, I got great. I had a great crowd tonight, so it was nice. It was, I mean, not a big freaking crowd, but like it was, just some peers and stuff. But yeah, it was fun, and I had to go to the screening tonight, and I had to pass up on Monday Night Raw, but I saved $400, I guess, in the process. So I mean, I can't really complain about that.
Yeah.
And then,
Go ahead.
yeah, I came home it was at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So yeah, it definitely would have been way too late to go to Raw at all. So but yeah, I have one more class, and that will be my portfolio final. So then I will be a free man, and I will be off to the full-time job services.
Nice. Good for you there, Pyro, and I wish you all the best of luck there. And
Thank you.
Hope you do pretty well, and I know you're going to knock it out of the park and you're going to kill it. So I'll be
Thank you,
rooting
thank
for you
you.
all the way, man.
I'm the next Michael Cole. That would be awesome. I mean,
Yeah,
Mitch,
well,
I think it was Joe that was even saying that where I can be the next Michael Cole or Pat McAfee. I have always wanted to work with Michael Cole, and even as a backstage interviewer, as a ring announcer, as an actual like legit journalist for the WWE. He just he defines what journalism is about, and he brings that to. He kind of reminds me almost of a JR, but more on the outside journalism aspect. He does all the homework. He does all the interviewing. He does the broadcastings. He does, he communicates with the staff members and everybody. And it's so fascinating when you really see the behind the scenes of how much it takes for Michael Cole and how long he's done it without breaks. I think the only time he's ever had a day off is really for family functions, and it's maybe been like 3 in the last 20 years. He's been to every show other than one, I think it was late last year or early this year. And the dude is just that guy. He just is. And I would love one day to meet him, learn from him, see what I can pick up from him, and hopefully one day when he retires to maybe be a successor, or if I'm working in the creative suit, then that works completely as well.
yeah. Yeah, man. Michael Cole has done it all in this business, and he's he. I mean, I'll be honest. He was not good in commentary like 2010, 2011. But once Pat McAfee, especially when Pat McAfee arrived on the scene on the main roster in 2021, that you really saw Michael Cole. It kind of Pat McAfee kind of brought the passion out of Michael Cole again, and it really woke a
Well,
lot of people up to realize Michael Cole really isn't a bad commentator at all, as long as Vince McMahon is not screaming BS in his ear.
right, and that's what I was mentioning too. Like even if you look at, because I've been watching a lot of the WrestleManias from the past. Watching WrestleMania from WrestleMania 19, 20, 21. I'm starting to watch 22 right now. But going from 19 to 21, you can really see the passion for Michael Cole. And he loves pro wrestling. He loves journalism. He loves play by play announcing. And that's his thing. And I think, I think around that time you're talking about in that 2010, 2011 range, he was definitely being stifled creatively and
Yeah,
passionately, and he had that character. He had that character going on, undefeated at WrestleMania. Gotta mention that. Uh,
yeah,
but it's one of those things like
yeah.
it's nice to see. It's nice to see a guy, from like I think even in 2015 we saw a really good Michael Cole. That's where his backstage journalism came back. That's where his play by play was really good because he didn't have Jerry Lawler being like, "Oh, puppies,"
No,
you know,
no,
"Shut up, Cole." He didn't have Jerry
no,
Lawler taking the show. He didn't have all those all everybody yelling at him, giving him a script. He is doing his own thing. And from 2015 to now, I definitely see Vince McMahon giving him more of a reign, and then Vince left. Triple H just like, do your thing, just do your shit, and that's where we get the passionate Michael Cole, even better that we have today. And it's well, it is so good.
yeah, yeah, man. But Raw tonight in Kansas City could have been a little better crowd wise, but I feel like tonight was very promo heavy. We didn't get much wrestling on tonight's show. Last
Yeah,
week was fantastic. Raw after Mania last week was one of the best shows all year.
yeah,
This one, not better than last week, but very promo heavy. But I still
yeah.
feel like it's set up for Backlash, though. I will say, 3 weeks for Backlash. We need I think it's too short of a build. We need more of a build for Backlash. Like give like
Oh
instead
yeah.
of 3 weeks build, go with the next PLE Backlash. Do like 4 weeks, like May 17th. To do Backlash for May 10th is kind of like because next week, Saturday next week is already going to be Backlash, and we just had WrestleMania, and I feel like just 2-3 week build is not enough to get the people to care for the next upcoming PLE. I mean, don't get me wrong, the match they're setting up Backlash nicely, but I do feel like with that extra week for Backlash instead on May 17th would have got the fans a little bit more to care for
Absolutely.
Backlash, in my opinion. Not to say it's going to be a bad show, but just my opinion.
Well, and then here's my take too. I thought it was kind of a douche move. How the hell are you going to have a Raw in Kansas City, Missouri, just to 1 week later? Well, technically, I guess almost 2 weeks later. But the next Raw isn't in Missouri at all. It's
It's
probably
in
not even
Omaha,
close.
Nebraska, which I don't expect
Nebraska's
them to
not
make
that
much.
bad.
It should be a decent show next week's Raw, but Omaha, Nebraska, I would be shocked if they make any more enough noise.
Oh no, Omaha, Nebraska is a fun place. I've been there for vacation, but it's not a place where it's a very mellow town. And
Yeah,
but I thought it was a dick move. Like, how are you going to go from Kansas City to Omaha to then St. Louis? Like keep it, keep it
yeah.
there, man. Keep the locations close.
Why can't we have more wrestling shows like New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, or Massachusetts, or something along those lines? Pennsylvania,
Well,
Chicago.
Kansas City. I mean, in Missouri. I mean, it is getting to where we are becoming a wrestling crowd again. And then of course I work for KCXW. We're starting to get a lot of traction nowadays. And I think from last year's show, even we saw a massive and very energetic crowd. Of course, we saw CM Punk like 3 times that night. It was the draft. It was the night before, or not night. It was a Raw before payback, or fucking. It was the Raw before Backlash. So it was definitely a lot more exciting last year. I have closure about the fact I didn't go this year, but I'm so glad I went last year. It was definitely worth it, and the crowd felt dead because it felt like the show was dead. Even with Roxanne Perez and Rhea Ripley, that match felt so stale. It just didn't feel right, and it just.
I mean, the match was good, but when you have a crowd that just doesn't want to make any noise, that really, you can have a good match, but if you have a decent crowd, it can bring that good match from a good match to even more good match.
Absolutely. I just think Kansas City was just tired today because it's just like promo after promo, like you mentioned. Like, what are we going to see?
To build story for especially going into Backlash.
I expected more with Rhea though, because not at her, but like the crowd reaction for Rhea, because we missed her last year, which was a massive.
She got a really
blow.
nice pop though tonight. I will.
Oh hell yeah! Well, because we missed her last year, that's why. I miss Ryan Blaney too. I guess Ryan Blaney was there, and he's kind of my favorite driver right now. He's one of my favorite drivers. And damn it, I could have been in the same building as Ryan Blaney, but whatever.
Yeah, but nonetheless, Raw in Kansas City tonight. We opened the show with Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Paul Heyman. And man, Braun Breaker looks very nice in a suit.
Yes, very much so. And he looks even better spearing the hell out of people like he does.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But we got Sami Zayn interrupting Seth, Braun, and Heyman, which was very interesting. And Seth happened to give Sami an offer of a move or trade to SmackDown. Sami Zayn getting traded over to SmackDown. And Seth said, quote, "It's not a threat, it's an offer. It's not personal, it's not a threat, Sami, it's an offer. Think about it." And he had teasing throughout the show. You had Karrion Kross tease Sami, "Do the right thing, I take the offer." You had Jey Uso, with Sami backstage, as well. So this was interesting here. I mean, hey, listen, I take the trade to SmackDown. That show needs all the help they can get. And plus, I mean, Sami Zayn to SmackDown WWE champion, I'm not going to complain. But, however, this is my take on this. I think we get a draft soon, either in May or June this year. Do I think Sami moves to SmackDown in a draft possibly this year? Yes, I do, but not tonight. Honestly, this is my theory. I would say this. If we get a draft this year soon, which I think happens, since Raw's on Netflix and Raw's the A show, since they're on Netflix, the WWE title, the number one company, is on SmackDown, it's only right that WWE titles move to Raw and the World Heavyweight titles for the men and women move to SmackDown, like it was in late 05 when Cena on Raw was WWE champion, Batista on SmackDown World Heavyweight champion. And this is where I'm going with this, because I think Cody and Roman both end up on Raw soon in the draft soon. And I would move them in a draft soon for Sammy, Braun, and Seth. And this is where I'm going, and Jey Uso, obviously. So this is where I'm going with this. Jey Uso is wrestling Logan Paul at Backlash. He's not losing to Logan Paul. He's going to
Yeet.
retain him against Logan Paul for the world title at Backlash. I
Yeet.
would say, and Jey Uso is not a long-term world champion whatsoever anyway. I think he loses it to Braun Breaker or Seth Rollins by SummerSlam. And
Yeet.
and whoever beats Jey at SummerSlam and MetLife for the world title, Seth or Braun, they hold the world title on SmackDown from SummerSlam in New Jersey this August up until WrestleMania next year in New Orleans, where they lose it to Sami Zayn. Sammy can win the Rumble next year in Saudi. Sammy beats Seth or Braun for the world title next year at WrestleMania 42 in New Orleans. Sami Zayn gets that underdog Daniel Bryan WrestleMania in New Orleans Bourbon Street-like moment. Boom. That's long-term booking right there.
Where did you say that the Royal Rumble's going to be in?
Saudi Arabia next January. Sami Zayn can win the Rumble next year.
He doesn't go to Saudi.
No, actually, no. The Syrians do like Sammy, though. Actually.
Yeah, but Sammy doesn't like them.
Though he's been competed for Saudi lately, and they do love him. So you want? I
don't think he did.
So I can see him absolutely win the Rumble next year, and it makes sense.
I don't think he did want to go.
Like moment like Rey Mysterio in 2006. I think that'd be great.
That'd be really cool. Though I mean, the difference there is like Eddie kind of died, but like, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
That was the only reason though, because I think the deal was Shawn was supposed to win the world title again, and then I think Eddie was supposed to be going against.
Eddie was supposed to win the world title late 2005, and that time Batista was injured because Eddie was supposed to beat Batista for the world title in late 05. I think it was November 05. Yep. Eddie was going to take the world title off Batista, so Eddie was going to take the world title off of Batista, so Batista could go get he had an injured bicep or tricep, so Eddie would take the belt off him so Batista could go get surgery. Then Eddie would go into Mania 22 in Chicago in 06 to wrestle Shawn Michaels for the world title.
Man, that would have been so good. So good.
And unfortunately, Eddie Guerrero's no longer with us, and he sadly passed away.
Please, folks, if you do have struggles with addictions, man, get some help, man. Because, God dang, man, that could have been so legendary. I mean, it really could have been.
I don't know if it would have prevented the Chris Benoit tragedy, but
I don't think that had anything to do with it. I think it's an excuse. Chris Benoit did what he did, and
he had CTE. He still made the choice to kill his family.
Like, I guess the problem was you should never mix CTE with steroids, and I guess that's what he was taking at that point was
and Chris Benoit
really
definitely
bad stuff.
Steroids for sure.
He did, especially around that time. You can just tell, like, he was just so rabid, and for not even just because he's a rabid Wolverine, like it wasn't normal the way he was doing it, and it wasn't good, and it put a really bad thing on the company that took a long time to recover from, and
it rocked the wrestling world in 2007. Almost put wrestling out of business at that year after the incident.
I'd have to agree with you on that, and it sucks because it's like, even Kevin Nash was just like, dude, steroids doesn't do this shit. It's just he had a bad trip on it, I guess. Like that was kind of excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. But I guess that was kind of Kevin Nash just being like, yeah, that definitely doesn't happen, but okay, whatever you want to say. But I don't know. I'm not an expert on it. He's done it, obviously. So it's like, who can really say what caused it? Was it steroid abuse? Was it CTE? What was the issue? But yeah, no, definitely nothing would have stopped Chris Benoit from doing what he did. It just
killing his wife and his 7-year-old son, killing Nancy and Daniel.
Yeah.
2 people had no reason to die.
No, not at all.
But I thought this was a very good opening segment. Sami Zayn offered to move to SmackDown. Again, I do think Sami moves to SmackDown. Just I think come the draft, I could see him, Braun, and Seth, and plus Nick Aldis was there, and they will probably get an announcement of a draft in the next couple weeks or so. But Nick Aldis was there tonight. No Adam Pearce tonight, but SmackDown GM Nick Aldis ran the show for tonight. Adam Pearce will be back running Raw next week, but tonight running Raw, we got SmackDown GM Nick Aldis running tonight's Raw. Who's to say? And again, I think we get a draft announcement soon in a couple weeks, probably next week or so. Probably we probably get the draft after Backlash. I'm assuming. Who's to say Nick Aldis, who was there tonight, didn't think about, oh, look at these Raw people. Who could I bring to SmackDown? Maybe we get a draft announcement soon, and who could I pick? Who could I choose to bring to SmackDown? Or who's to say?
Yeah.
But that's it. But anyways, we then move on. You mentioned Rhea Ripley, Roxanne Perez. They had a good match. Crowd didn't help to make it better, but this was still a good match. Roxanne Perez is so good, and I'm hearing reports and rumors that Roxanne Perez and Julia are officially called up to the Raw roster.
Wow. That's awesome. That's
a good
definitely
thumbs up
deserved.
for me.
Yeah.
I think Roxanne Perez is a no-brainer. She's done everything in NXT. She lost to Stephanie Vaquera on NXT last week for the NXT Women's title. That Roxanne Perez has done in NXT does not need to be there anymore at all. Roxanne Perez to Raw, self-explanatory. Definitely the right call. Julia, she's very good as well. I don't mind her getting called up either. She doesn't even need to be in NXT that long either. She's that good. And I would say and for NXT Battleground, Julia for Stephanie Vaquera for the NXT Women's title, and that is Julia's last NXT match at Battleground in Tampa next month on Memorial Day weekend. Then once she puts Stephanie over there, then Julia can go to the Raw roster full-time, similar to what Kevin Owens did in 2015 when he got called up from NXT to the main roster. Remember when he was NXT champion? He was then US
That
champion
was so good.
in May of 2015, remember?
That was so much fun. I've always been a Kevin Owens guy. He's been my guy forever, and oh man, that was so cool.
So we could
I literally,
with Julia.
yeah, dude, I think
And
it's
maybe
perfect.
Stephanie Vaquera, who was also on the show tonight, she's also ready for the main roster.
Yeah.
Maybe I think she drops or maybe she loses the NXT, or maybe Stephanie Vaquera is on for Raw these past couple weeks, either to just promote for a potential Stephanie versus Julia match for Battleground, or Stephanie can do just like Kevin Owens, just like with Julia, possibly do Raw and NXT, and then when she drops the NXT Women's Championship, then she can focus full-time operations on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
Just my take. It's one of those two things. Either promote Stephanie and Julia for Battleground, or maybe Stephanie's going to Raw with Julia and Roxanne. And if that's the case, man, Raw Women's Division, man, look who they got.
Right. Well, and that's
Stephanie
the thing.
Vaquera,
Like, you
Julia,
gotta
Roxanne Perez, Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch, Lyra Valkyria, Bayley. You got Asuka. What?
Sorry.
You got,
Sorry.
Asuka should be coming back. Kairi Sane should be coming back soon from injury. You got Dakota Kai. You got Ivy Nile. We may get a draft. Some of these women may not. If we get a draft soon, some of these women may be on SmackDown. Who knows? But look at the Raw Women's division now, man. I mean, adding Stephanie, Julia, and Roxanne definitely brings the Raw Women's division from a here to a here.
I think honestly, like, it's just the division in NXT
It feels
is
like a
so
women's
good.
evolution right now on Raw.
Yeah,
It
really does. It really does, and I feel like you can call up all the women honestly at this point. Like, it's needed. The women's division right now is not what it can be, and I mean, yeah, you can make it so much better by just, I mean, call everybody up for both brands. Have a freaking
put Soruka and Zarya on SmackDown. Put Jordan Grace on SmackDown as well. I don't think you can't move everyone from NXT to Raw because you got to give SmackDown something.
Well, that and also the fact that SmackDown needs it more. Like, if you look at it, Io Sky,
women's division is very mid.
Very thin, very mid. When you look at Raw, you've got Rhea, Io, you've got, at this point, you have Bianca, you've got the tag division, you've got
Jade Cargill, you got Naomi, along with Bianca, Tiffany Stratton.
Well, I think technically
I'm not really high on. They got Zelina Vega, who just won the women's U.S. title, but she's not that great in the ring. She's decent, but
yeah.
They got Chelsea Green, who I'm not high on. They got the Secret Harvest, Alba Fire, Piper Niven. Just get them away from Chelsea Green.
Ooh, that's a hot take.
Get Alba Fire, Piper Niven away from Chelsea Green, who's a comedy act.
Yeah, I've always loved Chelsea Green for that reason. I actually didn't realize she was the bride. She was the bride back in the day with with
Yeah.
TNA. I was raised on that shit.
Yeah. Charlotte Flair is on hiatus, probably. No one wants to see her on television. Just take her off TV completely.
No, I don't
Nia
want to see
Jax and Tiffany. Nia Jax is a loser. She's not beating Tiffany, I can tell you that. They got Candice LeRae. I don't know what they're doing with her. She hasn't been seen on TV in a while. They got Katana Chance, Kaden Carter, who are in a tag team. But, I mean, that SmackDown Women's division is very, very mid.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I
I
don't know what
agree
they're
with
going to
that.
do to fix that division on Friday nights, but we'll see.
It's definitely going to be
It should be
interesting.
addressed, and it hopefully gets addressed pretty soon because it's a problem.
Oh, it would be. I mean, that's what the draft's all
Hopefully.
about. So I mean, yeah, that's what the draft will do a
I
job
mean,
on.
hopefully get a draft soon because SmackDown could use all the help they can get. They're going back to 2 hours supposedly in June, but that show needs all the help they can get bad.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
we got the Roxanne and Rhea. We have the match. Rhea won by a DQ after interference from Julia, who's an apparent alliance with Roxanne Perez, apparently. Io Sky makes the save, but it gets beaten down, only for Rhea to make the save. Maybe we get either Rhea and Io versus Julia and Roxanne at Backlash, or we get a fatal four-way with these four for the women's world title at Backlash, or we get the tag team match maybe on Raw next week. Maybe they announce it, and then they do Rhea and Io at Backlash for the women's world title. Or maybe we do get the tag match at Backlash. Who knows? But
That'd be interesting.
so something along those lines, I think.
I say that all the time.
Yeah, but I am liking what these four ladies are doing, and I think they're cooking so far.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
we then go a backstage thing with the Judgment Day and Finn Balor, and Balor and McDonough versus the War Raiders get set up as well.
Ooh, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, they're still teasing tension with Finn Balor and the Judgment Day. I think Balor gets kicked out in the future
Hmm.
still, but we'll see. Nice to see JD McDonough back. Maybe he's
Yeah,
the takes over the new leader for the Judgment Day.
I
Because I
don't
can't
know. It's
see
got to be
Dominic with
Dom. It has to be
no,
Dominic.
I can't see it though.
I can see it. He's the Intercontinental Champion. He's been there long enough. You're not going to give it to the guy who hasn't been there longer than Dominic.
I don't know, but I don't know. We'll see. But I just, but I do think Balor gets kicked out sooner or later, either way, out of the Judgment Day.
Yeah.
But we move on to then Logan Paul and Jey Uso. They have a segment. Logan Paul says that he's done everything in his business except win a world title. He mentions Jey Uso in the world heavyweight title. Jey Uso comes out. Logan Paul gets booed. Jey Uso gets cheered. I'm sure the IWC is not happy about this, but I don't like it either. However, I will say this: it's an easy win for Jey at Backlash, and don't worry, guys. Logan Paul's not winning the world championship off Jey Uso. That's not going to
Oh,
happen.
I hope
Don't
not.
worry.
I hope not. I do
Logan
worry.
Paul is not winning that championship.
I do worry because this is the only thing that I actually hate about Triple H is he likes Logan Paul.
I know, but I mean, regardless what you think of Logan Paul, I don't like the guy as a person, but as a wrestler, I can sit here and tell you that in the ring, he knows what he's doing, and he's a very good in-ring performer, and I'm not taking that away from him.
I just don't think he deserves to be in the ring. Like you have to give your dues, man. And not only that, but like he just doesn't. I don't see him respecting business. I don't see how a guy who can just be some YouTuber goes into a sports entertainment world. It just I don't know. The way that he did his YouTube career, the way he's treated his brother and his family, the way that he's treated his fans, the fact that he's a phony in the boxing ring because all he wants to do is exhibitions, like that's wrong to me. You know, that wrestling ring is about integrity and honor, and I feel like a guy like Logan Paul isn't giving that honor and respect and integrity, and it's just a guy like Logan Paul just doesn't give that at all.
Yeah, but I do think Jey Uso, with Logan Paul and Jey Uso likely for the world title at Backlash, I'm sure it's an easy win for Jey Uso, and he'll move on to better opponents. Like probably, I would say probably Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker after Backlash. I would assume.
Oh man, I'm excited about Braun. I've always been a Braun Breaker guy. Give me
Yeah,
Braun Breaker.
yeah. But we'll get to him, though. Don't worry. But we then go to the next segment. We get a backstage thing with Paul Heyman and Sami Zayn. Paul Heyman was, quote, telling Sami Zayn, you can live in the future or you can die in the past, telling Sami Zayn, if I were you, I'd take the offer to get moved to SmackDown. And Braun Breaker was, after Heyman left, after Heyman was done sitting down talking to Sami, he then goes to the other side of the locker room, is seeing Braun Breaker on the other side. So it almost got me similar to how Triple H and Ric Flair in early 2005, it was after Batista won the 2005 Royal Rumble, and Triple H and Ric Flair were trying to manipulate Batista, move to SmackDown, wrestle JBL at WrestleMania 21 for the WWE Championship, and move to SmackDown, while Triple H and Ric Flair were trying to manipulate Batista. So Batista wouldn't get Triple H's world title at WrestleMania in 2005, at WrestleMania 21 that year in LA. And it led to the iconic Batista cementing his babyface turn 2005.
Absolutely. I mean, it just, and it works full circle.
The iconic thumbs up, thumbs down, and you see the look on Triple H and Ric Flair's face.
Yeah.
Then Batista laid out Triple H and threw Ric Flair out of the ring, and then powerbomb Triple H into next week through the damn table. It was great. It was absolutely awesome, and Batista ended up signing the Raw contract to face Triple H for the world title at WrestleMania 21. It was great. It was a great moment in WWE, and still one of the greatest moments in WWE history, still to this day. And I felt a little bit of that with Sami Zayn, Paul Heyman, and Braun Breaker here. I don't know about you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've always been a Braun Breaker guy. I definitely can see him being the next Batista, being the next. I mean, shit, like he's doing things like Brock Lesnar, physicality wise. He's being an animal the way Batista used to do. And
we don't even need Brock Lesnar anymore. And I think
know, and that's why I keep telling people.
And I think Brock is done anyway. He's not coming back.
I think Brock right now is just trying to keep his nose clean. This isn't because
I think he's done. He tarnished his own image, which is sad.
But that's what that's what I'm saying there. It's like I don't think he can come back. Is the thing. Like I don't think he would care. But I don't know. Like I don't think he left on his terms. At the same time, I don't think he cares. Like he knows what he's done. Does he want to win another championship? Of course he does. Does he want to throw his weight around and be like, I'm champion now? Of course he does. He always has been that way. But is it time to hang it up? Is it time to figure out what you're going to do next and just let the courts and all that shit lie before you really make a decision on life? Yeah, definitely. It's time to give other people shinings and just don't worry about the ring right now. Worry about legal shit. Worry about your family. Worry about your farm in Minnesota. Just figure stuff out.
Or in Saskatchewan, hunting deer and elk and moose.
Yeah.
Over in Canada, in Saskatchewan.
Man, that's what's weird, man. Like I never imagined Brock Lesnar being like a Canadian type. It's just weird to think about. A guy that's that badass and a guy that can rip your heart out is a guy that enjoys, doing shit in Canada and does funny shit with Pat McAfee, and it's crazy.
Yeah, but we move on though to Finn Balor and JD McDonough. They go up against the War Raiders, and I believe this was a number 1 contenders match for the New Day's World Tag Team titles, right?
I don't remember.
If it is, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
The War Raiders win this after interference from Penta. He knocks JD McDonough off the top rope, and McDonough gets pinned by the War Raiders after their tag team finish. The one where Ivar springs off the second rope. And he pinned McDonough for the 1, 2, 3. This was after Balor and the New Day got taken out by Ivar on the outside when New Day was a special guest commentators for this match.
Mm-hmm.
But War Raiders win, assuming they're about to face a New Day probably in a couple weeks in a rematch from WrestleMania for the World Tag Team titles. Hopefully that match is better than their WrestleMania match. But I don't expect the War Raiders to lose to the. But I don't expect the. But I expect the War Raiders to lose to a New Day again. And I think we get a draft soon, I could see War Raiders, lose New Day again, and then they move the War Raiders to SmackDown for somebody else. They've done everything on Raw.
That's true. That's true. Um, yeah, I can't argue that. That's 100% true.
I would definitely move them to SmackDown. They could use a change of scenery and move them maybe for like Motor City Machine Guns or Los Garzas, one of those teams.
They could definitely probably use a heel turn at this point. I think they are really good. And
I'm glad they have their CFO money theme back, but they get no reaction. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know either because they were really good in the ring, really good. And so I don't know if it's a character issue. I don't know if they're just not exciting enough. But I mean, if you watch them in the ring, man, they're exciting to me. I love watching them. I love watching those
Yeah,
guys
yeah, they're awesome, man. The
do
War Raiders
crazy
are
shit in the
awesome.
ring.
Yeah,
Moonsaults and like forearms to the ring apron, and it's a lot of fun watching them do what they do with the double moves and all that.
yeah. Yeah, they got to do something with the War Raiders, man. What they're doing right now isn't clicking. They got to do something. Maybe a heel turn would be would be the best thing, but they got to do something with them because right now they're coming out to no reaction, and that should not be the case.
Yeah.
But we then go on to the next segment. Becky Lynch comes out to explain her actions for their attacking Lyra Valkyria last week. So Becky Lynch let the cat out of the bag. She revealed she's the one that attacked Bayley at WrestleMania. And she said, "Oh no, don't sit there and act like I'm the bad one because Bayley attacked me in 2019 and I didn't get one apology from her." And Becky's berating the fans and berating Lyra as well. And then Lyra Valkyria comes out and she cut a very nice promo on Becky. That was a nice back and forth.
Oh yeah.
There was one spot where Lyra said to Becky, "I'm a better person," and damn well, Becky, you know, fact, like knowing that I'm a better wrestler than you, Becky. And then Becky was all angry, pissed, and like, let me tell you something, you little brat, little bitch. And then Becky's running her mouth and like talking, like just running her mouth and all. And then she eats a double boots from Lyra that Bucci does through the middle rope, I think.
Mm-hmm.
There's Lyra, and
Yep.
Becky's running away, and Lyra's pounding on her. Becky runs away through the crowd. Then Lyra poses on the front stage, and Becky blindsides her from behind. And they set up Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria for the women's IC title at Backlash. There was other line. Lyra said, "I don't want to be the next Becky Lynch anymore."
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah,
That was a
and
really good one.
I do think, though, I'm upset Bayley was off WrestleMania. She should have been on WrestleMania this year. But I think they turned this into a storyline with what we're seeing.
Yeah. Well, and especially since it's sounding like Becky was the one that did it, and if that's the case, then you have to play around with that one.
I do think we get Bayley back in a while. I think, and
She'll definitely take her break, but until
maybe this leads to Becky Lynch and Bayley at Evolution.
Maybe that would.
I don't know if they do with Lyra Valkyria in the IC title, but we'll see. I don't know if they're going to give it to Becky at Backlash, but we'll see. I think Becky should just put her over. I don't know what. Again, I don't know what. And Becky said she was going to make the women's IC title mean something, just like I made you mean something. And
shots fired.
Lyra and Becky's like to Lyra, "You're nothing without me." Yada yada yada. I made you. Lyra's like, "No, you didn't make me. I made me." This is a very nice back and forth, I'll be honest, with Lyra and Becky. I still think Becky's forced, in my opinion, because Becky Lynch sometimes comes off to me as cringe. No disrespect to Becky Lynch, but that's just my opinion. But this is still a nice back and forth, decent back and forth between Becky and Lyra, in my opinion.
I don't disagree. I think Becky's always kind of had mid abilities on the mic. That doesn't mean she's bad, but it's just I never really believed that. Like I always felt the people pleaser type of mic skills where it's like, y'all want to hear this? Oh hey, I'm here and I'm gonna kick your arse and I'm gonna do this. And by the way, hey crowd. And it just doesn't work every time. It doesn't always work in your favor, and it makes you kind of look like you're just trying to get a cheap pop. And and these days it's almost like the Attitude Era again, where we don't want to see a cheap pop. We want to see, like, be aggressive with your damn mic skills and talk some shit about people. Don't be cliche. That's the other thing with Becky is she's a
Yeah,
uh, very cliche talker. That's definitely a problem with today because the cliches are over. The John Cena promos, the hey kids, I'm here. How's it going, St. Louis or Kansas City, Missouri?
yeah,
That's done. That's over. And it's fine. That's sometimes, but at some point you just gotta be like, when's this crowd shit gonna end, and when are we actually gonna be talking some business here?
yeah. If anything, tonight's Raw set up a lot of story. Not very match heavy, very promo heavy setups. It was very story heavy tonight,
Yeah.
which is okay. You don't need to have a show that's just only wrestling, wrestling, wrestling. You gotta sprinkle some story in there, even if not much wrestling. As long as there's story to even it's a bad story, they get you to come back the next week. That's what matters. Good story, bad story. It's better to have a good story, but I mean, no one wants a bad story, but and people prefer a good story for bad story, and those are facts. But if you have a story, it'll get you to tune in the next week. But if you have no story, you can't. That's how you lose your audience.
Hmm.
This is why AEW struggles, and they could use some help with the story department. You can't have just wrestling matches and no story and expect the audience to stay afloat. You'll lose. Your audience will drop.
Absolutely.
That's why the AEW can't. They can't even sell out a Collision taping on what, May 14th, or
Oh
was it,
yeah.
or May 7th? Oh, is it May 17th? Yeah, May 17th. I think in Wichita, Kansas, they can't even sell out that show. They had to cancel that show and make a
I
double
didn't
feature
even know
for
about it.
the May 14th Dynamite for Beach Break. Why is that?
I didn't even
I
know
wonder
about it.
why.
That's the thing
Because they
too.
can't
Like,
sell that show because their product is not good.
they don't advertise well either. Like, they'll literally advertise something, and like in a week span or like a 2 week span, I'll just be like, "Oh, there's an AEW show. Okay, I didn't fucking know about that." Like,
Yeah, WWE has the better production, obviously promoting shows. AEW has nothing of that, and that's where they struggle. And they could use something like that. Then that's why they haven't grown.
I agree.
So if you
I've
wonder
never
why they
even been
can't
to an
sell out that
AEW
show, you
show.
wonder why. It's sad. It's sad.
Yeah.
Even Samoa Joe and John Moxley promoted for May 14th Dynamite at Beach Break, and that show's not even sold good either. It's sad. Really is sad. But moving on, Becky and Lyra announced for Backlash for the women's IC title. We also get a backstage segment with JD McDonough, not JD McDonough, Nick Aldis, the SmackDown GM who ran Raw tonight, and Penta. Nick Aldis apparently made a match for Raw next week, Penta versus JD McDonough. And then American Made was backstage. Chad Gable's mocking Penta and mocked Ray Phoenix. How El Grande Americano beat Ray Phoenix at WrestleMania, and Chad Gable mocked Penta. Gable got a kick in the gut from Penta, and then Penta did the Zero Miedo. And Chad Gable mentioned the Lucha Brothers on WWE television tonight, which was interesting. I don't know if you caught that.
Hmm. I think I did.
We make it. I don't know. We make it the Lucha Bros relatively soon. I don't know.
Hey man, that would be cool. And like we were just saying, I mean, the tag division's thin a little bit right now for both
Well,
both
both brands.
genders. Yeah, right. Both brands, both genders. We don't have solid tag teams right now.
The women's tag titles are worthless. I just scrap them. But we're talking about men's tag division. They're lacking on both shows for
Well,
the tag teams. I don't
the
understand why
problem.
we can't just merge the men's tag team titles.
Well, the problem. Well, no, we can't do that because that's basically what they were doing with the Judgment Day last year. And
It's
at one
it would
point,
be
we had
better
tag
if
teams.
the it would be better if they have one set of men's tag titles and then only one men's tag champions merges crosses both shows.
Yeah, but here's my problem. And this is exactly what I knew would happen, and this is exactly what's happened from what I was saying last year, is the WWE loves to overdo on heel turns, face turns on teams, tag teams. And the problem with that is they were doing it so much to now we don't have any tag teams. Who's going to be a tag team? And you have two brands, but you can't. If you're going to keep the double
Yeah,
brands, if you're going to keep the double brands, if you're going to keep the WWE tag titles and the World Tag Team titles, then have you have to have your tag teams quit, split. That's why I don't like the idea of the Judgment Day breaking up. I don't like the idea of um,
Legato even on SmackDown.
yeah, I don't like the idea of all
Angel
these.
and Berto, and then or Andrade and Berto and Angel and Santos. Like, what the hell are we doing?
And here's my problem too. Here's how some companies do it, and I know this is exactly how TNA used to do it. This is exactly how the WWE does it. Team is stale. Let's say, okay, team stale, done everything, or maybe they haven't done everything, but it's just stale. No more story. All right, we'll just separate them. No, if you're lacking tag teams,
Yeah,
keep them.
yeah. It's just I don't know. They got to fix that issue soon. But
Very
if
soon.
I'm I if I was if it was up to me, I would just merge the two men's tag team titles. Just have one set of men's tag titles. You could still have the brand split, but have just one set of men's tag team championships and have the men's tag team champions and WWE tag team champions float between both Raw and SmackDown. It would make
Yeah.
things a lot easier and make a much more flourishing tag team division.
Well, and you can't get rid of the women's tag team titles either, because that's kind of a.
Well, if you have a women's tag titles and two sets of men's tag titles, it's stupid. It's
I
stupid.
mean, it's
That's why
typical
I'm saying
WWE
married to two
form,
men's
but
tag team titles. There's not enough depth on both Raw and SmackDown to have two men's tag divisions and two men's tag team titles. There's just not enough depth on both shows.
yeah, I mean, and that my thing, like, I don't mind the two tag titles, but make it mean something. That is where my problem comes into play. Make it mean something. Don't destroy tag teams just to destroy them. Don't give us the same shit all the time. Where are the Street Profits? Where is Motor Machine Guns? You know, what's
Yeah.
Damian Priest going to be doing? Is he going to be for the and that's the thing. Tonga Loa is back. Maybe
Tama Tonga recently got hurt, undisclosed
Tonga got
injury.
hurt.
He's out for a
Damn
while.
it. So
Just
Loa
a
comes
time when
back.
Tonga Loa's about to come back soon, which is a shame.
Damn it. See, and that's why I think even with the push
Then
that.
you get the Wyatt Six. They've dropped the ball on the Wyatt Six. I'm sorry.
Oh my god! Don't even get me started on that, man. I made a whole video about it, and they've completely fucked over. The problem is, and this is what I was trying to tell Joe and Mitch, is even if there's an injury, one, why is it taking this long to recover from the injury? Do we not have good doctors that can actually do something about this? But also the fact that why are we not utilizing the fact that maybe Dexter Loomis, right? Loomis is lurking in the shadows. Joe Gacy is fucking with the lights. We have a promo for the Woods with Eric Rowan. Something like that, man, where you're not completely cutting these guys off of TV and they can still show off the Wyatt Six. Plus the fact Dexter Loomis is actually a good wrestler. Joe Gacy is the next Bray Wyatt. Joe Gacy is very talented. I don't care what anybody says about how he needs to be with the Wyatt Six. He doesn't even need to be with the Wyatt Six. I think in ring style, character, and in ring style, you have a mix of both Bray Wyatt and Kevin Owens. And I completely believe that. This guy is very talented, great storytelling, and you can put him anywhere and he will face the biggest guys, the smallest guys, and still give you a great performance. And that's exactly what guys like Bray Wyatt, Kevin Owens does. Doesn't matter the size, he'll figure it out. It doesn't matter dude literally does front flips on the front rope on the turnbuckle and just taunts people. That's badass. Utilize that. Your tag division is very thin. What do? Maybe bring back the White Six uh without Bo Dallas right now. Make a story out of it. Say he's lost or something like that, or say he's at a retreat. Do something.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. It's not that hard, and you need tag teams. Okay, hey, we're calling you up. You're on contract. Let's get you going. Let's get rolling here. It's that
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah. We then get another video package of Rusev. Apparently, no more Rusev Day, no more like using the Bulgarian flag, chasing women and
Mm-hmm.
throwing or waving the Bulgarian flag. He mentioned about there's a new Rusev. I found who I am, and for 5 years I was in abyss. I was in an abyss, basically. I mean, shot at mentioning AEW without mentioning AEW, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah.
It was
And
shot at Tony
it's
Khan,
so
no
true.
questions asked. And
Oh,
Rusev said, "I found who I am. This is who Rusev actually is." So it looks like we're getting the Redeemer gimmick Rusev on Monday Night Raw, which I am okay with. He had a very good
yeah.
Redeemer gimmick in AEW when he was the TNT champion, so I don't mind seeing the Redeemer Rusev on Monday Night Raw at all.
No, I think it's brilliant. I think if WWE wants to go with it, yeah, bring it back and
Yeah.
do it correctly, as AEW did not do. Do it correctly.
Well, Tony fumbled again, like he always does with a lot of talent.
Yeah.
So
Well,
fumbles
he
another
doesn't
one
have
against Rusev.
he doesn't have a second chance no more. So let's see if he can somehow learn from his mistakes and not screw it up again.
Probably will, but we'll see. Probably
I
will.
know. Oh
Probably will,
man.
but we'll see. But he'd be a nice contender for the IC title. It's something
Yeah.
different for
Yeah.
Rusev.
That's true. That is true.
But we did get a match set up for next week. Penta versus JD McDonough, and as well as Rusev versus Otis for Raw next week in Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh yeah,
People,
that was a fun announcement. I'm shocked it wasn't tonight, but I mean, you can't really be
yeah,
a beggar, you know.
yeah. And then we got Stephanie Vecchia versus Ivy Nile one-on-one. Second week we see Stephanie Vecchia on Monday Night Raw, and Vecchia wins with the SVB, the Stephanie Vecchia bomb, that double underhook like backbreaker that she does. And man, very nice to see Stephanie Vecchia again on Raw for the second time this week. If these past 2 weeks have really shown, honestly, to me, and I hope that is the case with a lot of other people, that Stephanie Vecchia is more than ready for the main roster relatively soon. If the past 2 weeks doesn't show to a lot of people, I don't know what does. She did very well last week with the match of the Io Sky, and had a decent match tonight with Ivy Nile. Even the fans tonight loved Stephanie Vecchia. Too bad Booker T wasn't on commentary, especially with the Devil's Kiss that Stephanie Vecchia did tonight on Ivy Nile. But a nice win for Stephanie Vecchia. She is one of the future pieces of the company for years to come. Again, women's evolution on Raw: Stephanie Vecchia, Roxanne Perez, Julia, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky. You can include Becky Lynch, Lyra Valkyria, and Bayley in there too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, absolutely.
sure you feel the same way. But yeah, nice match, and I would not be surprised if Stephanie Vecchia by SummerSlam is called up to the main roster, as she should be.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely, absolutely.
and she deserves to call up. We then go backstage with AJ Styles, backstage with Nick Aldis and the Judgment Day, and stuff. It was all right. Then again, another backstage with Karrion Kross and Sami Zayn. Kross told Sami, "No, you're going to do the right thing. Do the right thing. Move to SmackDown. Take the offer from Seth Rollins." And then we go to Pat McAfee on the announce desks, commenting of last week's attack from Gunther. And then Pat McAfee says, "I want Gunther's suspension lifted." Like Aldis comes out and says no, and it'll end at Backlash, because at Backlash, Pat McAfee, it's going to be you versus Gunther, and the match is made for Backlash. Pat McAfee versus Gunther. I don't know how you feel about this. I'm a mixed bag on this, to be honest. I
I am
mean,
too.
I mean, do I want to see this match? No. However, look at Adam Cole and Pat McAfee from NXT TakeOver 30 in August of 2020. I had very low expectations going into that match, and I thought that was like, what? No, this is stupid. Why would I do this? This is a waste of Adam Cole's time, the waste of his talent. But then we
Yeah.
get to the match at TakeOver 30 with Adam Cole and Pat McAfee, and it's an old video of mine here on the channel from 5 years ago. I even said on here, and I'll gladly admit when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Pat McAfee and Adam Cole, low expectations going into that. And man, Pat McAfee shut me up and shut a lot of people up in their match. Adam Cole and Pat McAfee took over 30 was actually one of the best matches of that entire show.
Yeah.
The
I mean,
the
it's
same
Adam
thing could
Cole
be
as
for
well, you know.
Pat McAfee and Gunther.
I think that's also a thing on how professional a guy like Adam Cole really is, and he's always been that type of guy where if you put him in the ring with anybody, you saw how many guys he wrestled in Ring of Honor who ended up being complete shitheads, and I think that that can attest to how he can really make somebody look really good, and
Yeah.
it's him. It's the people that he's working with. Pat McAfee is I guess somewhat of an athlete, and so it's one of them things where you you would have to kind of trust the guys that have the passion. You have to trust the guys that have been there for a while to know how to make a match look good. Okay,
Yeah. Trust the
I
guys you're in the ring
am
with.
right, and that's the thing. Like I'm facing a guy who's never been in the ring before. Like this. I've never, I'm facing a guy who was a punter, so he's not exactly a complete athlete, but he's still an athlete enough. We can work with something with this. And I think that comes to the fact that Pat McAfee is just that guy. And he's that type of guy. Or Pat McAfee, Adam Cole. Adam Cole is that guy. Put him with whoever you need him to. He will make whoever he needs to look good. He will be that not selfish guy in the end, put somebody over that really can, um, you know, he puts people over more than he really should, honestly, and he puts the people that deserves it because he knows that it's good for the company and it's good for him. So I I I think Gunther will be the same way almost. I don't think Gunther is exactly the type of guy to really put a guy over, but I mean, being a world champ, he's done everything he's need to so far, and it's it's time for him to start getting, a little bit less like, more loose, right? More loose with his character and more exploring with who he faces. And I think story wise, this is a fun one. I don't know if there's anybody else that he can really face right now where it would make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, it should be. I mean, at the end, it could be a very good match at Backlash, but I expect Pat McAfee to get destroyed though by Gunther. I can assure you.
Yeah.
And I think Pat
Oh yeah.
McAfee's starting his college football again soon. I think.
Probably he'll probably be off of. He'll probably
Maybe
be
this
off
is how they write him off.
of. Ooh.
I think when they bring Gunther back at Backlash, I think this is how you want heat on Gunther, especially coming out of WrestleMania, and you write Pat McAfee off television. I think that'd be nice for Gunther. I mean, Pat McAfee as an opponent for Gunther at Backlash would not be my first choice, but I mean, Pat McAfee's going to be off TV for a while because of college football back soon anyway. So I guess I don't see why not. I mean, again, I don't like the idea for that match at Backlash, but if Adam Cole and Pat McAfee proved anything, low expectations going into that match, but then when the match happens at said show, it definitely shuts people up and actually becomes probably one of the best matches of the night. We could be the same thing with Gunther and Pat McAfee at Backlash. So we'll see what happens, but that's so if history shows itself, that could very well be the case.
Yeah.
But we go, and Pat McAfee, very passionate promo, by the way, I will say.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. And of course, you got to drink every time he says the word Kansas City.
And you mentioned I was a bum in the beginning, and this place has changed me into what I'm today. Very good stuff with Pat McAfee.
I definitely feel like there needs to be like a Pat McAfee drinking game, and every time he mentions the city of like where they are, drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not
For
sure
some
how you
reason,
feel about that subject, but I'm not
yeah,
wrong.
I don't drink, but it's a conversation for another day, though.
Yep,
But
yep, yep.
we go to video package, another video package with SummerSlam 2007, John Cena versus Randy Orton. And I remember this match, man. This was actually, I think, the last time SummerSlam was in New Jersey was 2007 at the former Izot Center, no more the Izot Center, across the street from MetLife Stadium, where it's home of this year's SummerSlam. SummerSlam tickets go on sale this week. I'm here in the front row. Elite packages are $40,000, bro. And that's for front row for elite packages.
For Backlash?
No, SummerSlam.
Oh, Summer. How much again?
$40,000 for an elite package for front row.
What the what?
That's for elite packages. The general tickets go on sale this Friday, and it said that it should be significantly lower than 40,000. There's no way that can't be that much for general. I don't think it is.
Dude,
Honestly,
WWE seriously needs to.
and this is just elite. This is just for elite packages only for front row.
Bro, WWE seriously needs to put them freaking prices down. Like, this is getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even, and that's the thing. Like, people wonder why, and I get we have an economy issue right now, and I get that, but like, you see very
Only with these
less
tariffs and shit on
people.
us, but I mean that's a
Yeah,
conversation for another time. But I mean,
right.
holy shit! Like, I
Even
mean,
concerts are
like I don't know
losing
what
money.
they're trying to accomplish here with raising the prices. Like, stop.
Well, the fact that I think I know what happened is the same thing that happened with the WWE network. They went from being on a television network to being on a streaming device. Streaming devices aren't going to pay that much. Streaming devices are not going to, like, literally WWE is probably getting most of their financing from merchandise and ticket sales, because you cannot market that much off of people, like one person per viewer paying $10 for a streaming service when
Yeah,
there's every show for that streaming service, not just WWE. You're not paying just $10 for the WWE per month, or however much people pay for. You're paying that $10-$20 for every single show, every movie, every live streaming network on Netflix. So you're not getting that television money that they used to get. You're getting the $10 per view stream, or not even. You're getting like maybe $1 per view, which is still a lot. But if you're paying a guy like John Cena, a million views is not going to pay for a John Cena salary. So they're definitely getting a lot of money from the tickets and the merchandise. The problem is you can't even get a T-shirt anymore without it being hoodie prices, and that is a problem.
yeah, yeah. But we then move on to the main event though, with Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn. And Seth Rollins tells Sami Zayn, "What do you say? Accept the offer?" No. I would go to SmackDown, Sami, if I was you. Sami Zayn says, "I'm sorry, Seth, but go to hell." And this was a very good promo from Sami, by the way. Sami Zayn's a very good promo. I don't care what anyone says. Oh, Sami Zayn can't talk. He can't cut a promo. Yes, he can. Tonight showed you that they can absolutely cut a fucking promo.
I don't know why that was ever a question. The dude is the best the sympathy mic
A
talker.
great guy to get behind as that underdog.
Yeah,
And of
it's
course, Braun Breaker comes out with the sirens. You hear Braun Breaker come out with Paul Heyman.
gave me
It's the
goosebumps,
Braun Breaker
man.
versus Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn's in his jean pants, dress pants, going to match with Braun Breaker, impromptu match with Braun Breaker, and Braun just destroys Sami. He gets like 3 spears, or two, like said spear one, then spear two, and then Seth's yelling at Sami's face, "Sami, this can all stop now. Take the offer. Take the offer now, Sami. This can all be put to it and just take the offer. And then Sammy tells Seth again, go to hell. And then Braun Breakers run the ropes back and forth. Third spear after 2 spears. Sammy rolls to the outside. Referee calls for the bell for a referee stoppage. And then Braun Breaker, Sami Zayn stand next to the announce table trying to be helped up. Braun Breakers run around outside the ring. 4th spear on the outside. And then Sammy gets back in the ring. Sami Zayn's is helpless in the ring. Seth Rollins hits a curb stomp as the exclamation point. Sami Zayn's laid out. Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Paul Heyman stand tall as Raw has the closing credits, and that's how Raw goes off the air tonight. I love this. I loved every minute of this, man. I don't know about you. That was fantastic. Absolutely
Yeah, that was
fucking
really
fantastic.
nice. I thought it was a really good way to, and it wasn't a memorable Raw, but it was definitely a good way to, um,
And this
it
is
was
definitely long term. This is long term storytelling for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you go back to NXT with Paul Heyman, when you go from the Monday Night Messiah, you are seeing that again. Basically, Braun Breaker's playing the part of Buddy Matthews, um, and it's so crazy. It's fun to see that WWE is really paying attention to small detail of the friendship from Seth Rollins, the fact that Paul Heyman is associated with Braun Breaker already, the fact that Seth Rollins was even picked for the heel turn, and why that happened is it's paying attention to very small detail. And I mean, hell, Braun Breaker, you might even we just mentioned guys like Batista, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, even. Maybe that's why Paul Heyman wanted Braun Breaker. He is a younger Roman Reigns. He's a younger Brock Lesnar.
Yes.
That is freaking nail in the coffin on why Paul Heyman would want him as a Paul Heyman guy.
Yeah. And it's no brainer to see why. I mean, the guy Braun Breaker has the sky's the limit for the kid, and he's this young and this good.
Yeah. Oh,
And
he's so
the
good.
guy is far from stopping here. He's only getting started in this business.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
And he is
Hey, I agree.
he is the future world champion within the next couple years. Get used to it.
Yeah.
It's going to be great when Braun Breaker is a world champion, which won't be long. I could see him or Seth take the world title soon off of Jey Uso by SummerSlam or at SummerSlam in New Jersey in this August in New Jersey at MetLife. And I like Jey Uso, but he's not a long-term world champ at all. I do expect him to absolutely drop the world title by or at SummerSlam this year. And I think he loses to either Seth Rollins or Braun Breaker. Whichever one takes the belt off Jey, the world title off Jey at SummerSlam, I think holds the world title from SummerSlam this August up until WrestleMania 42 in New Orleans next April in 2026, where Seth or Braun, whoever the champion is, drops the world title next year at WrestleMania 42 to Sami Zayn. I think we could see Seth versus Sami for the world title at WrestleMania 42, or Breaker versus Sami for the world title at WrestleMania 42. Either one is fine by me, but I do think at the end of the day, it leads to Sami Zayn finally being a world champion WWE at WrestleMania next year in New Orleans, and we get another Daniel Bryan New Orleans WrestleMania-esque like Bourbon Street underdog crowning-esque like moment next year at WrestleMania in New Orleans for WrestleMania 42. Sami Zayn can win the Rumble in Saudi next January, and he can win the world title next year at WrestleMania 42. Similar also to how Rey Mysterio won the world title for the first time at WrestleMania 22 in Chicago 20 years ago in 2006, almost 20 years ago in 06. And similar to the Daniel Bryan underdog moment, WrestleMania 30, when he beat 3/4 of Evolution in one night, won the world title, which was one of the greatest WrestleMania moments of all time. We could see that again, but in Sami Zayn next year. And I think that's a beautiful thing to see. Again, long-term storytelling at its finest, and I love it.
Absolutely. And I mean,
Tells a great story. And Sami Zayn's never ever been. He's a former NXT champion, but he's never ever been a world champ ever on the main roster in WWE before ever. That's a great story to tell.
yeah,
Because you want to root
absolutely.
for the underdogs, and Sami Zayn, the underdog, finally wins the big one next year at WrestleMania, and it's a definite, absolute feel-good moment It just makes you love pro wrestling that much more. And I think that's where this is going. And Paul Heyman said this group with this Heyman group is going to bring WWE into the next year and at least and beyond. And that, this is only the beginning. Paul Heyman is not telling lies here.
Yeah.
Paul Heyman has the vision. The man is a genius. He's smart. He knows what he's doing.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
Yeah, like CM Punk would say. And folks, that's not a prediction. That's a spoiler. No pun intended from Paul Heyman. But yeah, not better than last week's Raw. This Raw tonight, very promo story heavy, but it's still a decent show. Not better than last week, but still God did its job tonight, I feel.
Absolutely. And I think when it comes to, who gets the world title shot, I don't think Seth needs it right now. That's my thing. I've always thought that Seth really didn't need it. I think Braun Breaker could use it so much more.
Either one is okay.
Either one, sure.
I don't mind either one as long as the belt's off Jay.
You just don't
no wrong, Seth and Braun, there's really no wrong answer here. And that's the great thing about it too with this alliance.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I just don't think anything's going to happen with Jay. I think it was a feel-good moment. I think now Gunther is going to
be world champ long at all.
I didn't think he should have won the title. That's my thing. Like, I feel like Gunther is just losing WrestleMania after WrestleMania, and the way he lost it was just so stupid. I hated that choke.
The way Jey Uso tapped out Gunther in like 2 seconds did not sit well with me at all.
Not at all. And it's his finisher, but yet he's supposed to be the ring general. He's supposed to be taken seriously. That's not how you take a guy seriously. I hated that moment. That was awful. I mean, I thought the match was decent. I thought they did pretty well with that, but the finish was definitely really bad, and it was confusing. I was thinking like, wait, what the fuck? That's it? How's that it?
Yeah, like it's just. But Jey Uso, don't worry. I can't see him being world champ for that much longer. And I think he loses that title pretty soon to Seth Rollins or Braun Breaker. And that's going to come. Mark my words. And you better get used to it, folks.
Yeah.
So that was Raw tonight. That's the Raw Chaos coverage for tonight.
We've been on for a while.
Yeah. It's a lot to talk about, man, especially when you have some story and Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman. Like, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably the best thing, one of the best things going forward, probably the best thing going right now on WWE television, hands down. And it's only getting started. Maybe we see Austin Theory join the group. Maybe we get a female presence in the group. Who knows?
That is very Paul Heyman-ness. Like, I feel like Paul Heyman definitely should bring a women's wrestler to the. I don't think it should be Rhea Ripley though. I can see
Rhea's too over.
Going on with that.
I could see Becky Lynch in the group, or if not Becky Lynch, what about Shayna Baszler? I know she's in a tag team with Zoe Stark, and Shayna has not felt like Shayna in years. You want to save Shayna Baszler's career if she doesn't get released? Like, if you want to save Shayna Baszler's career, put her with have Paul Heyman have Shayna Baszler join the Heyman group. That would save Shayna Baszler's career like that. Because right now she's in a dead tag team with Zoe Stark, Sonya Deville with PFC. PFC's dead. Sonya Deville's not there anymore. She got released months ago. And Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler that tag team is going nowhere. Shayna's a dead act right now. And she's not felt like herself in 5 years since being called up from NXT in 2020. And you want to make Shayna Baszler and you want to make Shayna Baszler that killer NXT Shayna Baszler again. Put her with Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, and Braun Breaker. I think that would be a big deal.
Absolutely, I agree.
Put her with Paul Heyman, get her away from Zoe Stark, and have Shayna Baszler go nowhere but up from there. And make Shayna Baszler the NXT Shayna Baszler again that was stomping on arms and just like she was just this rugged, I don't give a fuck attitude, just female bully that was so good in NXT Black and Gold. That's something I'd like to see. If not Becky Lynch in this group, or you could have Austin Theory in this. Apparently, during a commercial break Raw tonight, Austin Theory, Grayson Waller teased the tension. I think Grayson Waller was even booked for a match, I think, next week on Raw, I think, as well, and didn't tell Austin Theory. So that could lead maybe to Austin Theory eventually join Heyman's group. And I think when Heyman was Raw executive director years ago, I think he had a vision for Austin Theory, along with Aleister Black, Buddy Matthews, and Andrade. And Heyman wanted to make a new Raw 6, like the SmackDown 6.
There
I think he had was high hopes for Riddick Moss as well, I think, along with Black, Andrade, and Buddy, and Austin Theory.
That would not have worked. I love Paul Heyman. I always usually agree with him.
He has an eye for talent, though.
Huh?
He has an eye for talent, though.
Oh, yeah, he does. Austin Theory, though? No.
I don't know. I mean, you could have him like a Randy Orton, this new Heyman like evolution group. Brown Breaker's obviously like the Batista. Seth Rollins is a Triple H, and have Austin Theory like the Randy Orton.
Maybe.
I don't know. But this Heyman group has a lot of potential, and it's not. It's and we're just getting started on this, so we'll see where it goes. But I'm excited. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch us, and appreciate you being here. Hit the like and subscribe to the Race Nation Hardcore Sports as well. Hit the bell for all notifications, and also give me a follow and Phyro a follow on social media and X, and all links in the description. And Phyro, any other parting words before we get the hell out of here?
Right, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Kansas City, Missouri, home of the Kansas City Chiefs. It is my hometown. I could not make it to Raw tonight, but I made it last year. I'm all right with it. But yeah, that's it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Raw Chaos coverage. We are going to be in Omaha, Nebraska next week for Monday Night Raw, and then we will be in St. Louis, Missouri. We are jumping from state to state. Backlash will be a big show, but ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for watching Stuff Such and Whatnot. Don't forget the Whatnot. Follow all of us on Hardcore Sports Network, everyone here who do a great job every single week for you guys, and we wouldn't be here without you guys as well, so thank you all. Thank everybody, every single person in the production and the crowd. And yeah, that'll be all for tonight. Thank you all, and have a great night.
Have a good night, guys, and we'll see you later soon. And I will definitely see you guys next time on the SmackDown Watch Party with Mitch this Friday night versus SmackDown. So hope you guys have a good night, and we will see you later. Peace.